Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Maximum Velocity Racing League from, well, we're at Chicago Speedway here. It's the Virtual Grip Network's 7th round coverage of the MVRL Monday Night ARCA Series. Well, happy National Odometer Day, everyone, as VGN joins the country in saluting the instrument that indicates the distance traveled. When it comes to the distance this season has traveled, well, the schedule reached the halfway mark and now starts into the second half. You know, the odometer was developed in the 1600s for wagons and other horse-drawn vehicles. For the vehicles of choice for this season, the ARCA cars, only Charles Widener, Cal Machowski, and Jack Watts have passed the 600-mile mark. But trophies are not awarded for miles raced, but rather for points earned. And that's where Justin Michaels and James Lehman sit atop the chart. But like Forrest Bueller rolling back the miles on the Ferrari, the rules package that allows for 2 drop races lets drivers roll back the mistakes that they have made. So pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for some simulated ARCA cars on a big mile-and-a-half track here tonight as we bring you the action streaming your way. A warm Prairie State hello and welcome on this Monday night, May 12th, 2025. The institution, J.R. Shepard, joins yours truly, Bill Soups on high up in the VGN broadcast booth to bring you our words, eye view, replay. Ryan Sandler, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. All right, J.R., what can you tell us about this place?
Well, Soup, Chicagoland is the last mile-and-a-half track that these drivers are going to race at this season. And based on the last one in Las Vegas, I think we're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing. A track this size, that means aerodynamics definitely come into play, which means running behind another driver will not be ideal for you in the long run out there. Tonight, these drivers, they will need to move around and find that clean air. If they don't, those front tires will overheat. The nose will start to slide across the track, and you will have no grip at all. Front tires sliding across the track. Again, if someone is beside you, you will either have to lift or make contact with that person or the outside wall. Because of that, Soup, I think the name of the game will be managing those tires throughout a run in order to have some type of handling here and speed at the end.
Well, I'm not a great driver, but given those choices, my choice would be to lift rather than to make contact, but that's just me. Hey, let's go ahead and bring up the points. Now, I want to talk about this. VGN is going to show you the points. These are the raw points totals. In other words, they're the total points collected for all 6 races. But because the drivers are forced to drop their 2 worst results, only the best 4 out of 6 results actually count towards the championship. So, now, because it's National Odometer Day, VGN has gone the extra mile. And we're going to tell you the true standings to take into account the drop races. Now, Justin Michael is still leading, but with only 264 points. James Lehman is in second place, just 2 points behind him. But now here's where it gets interesting. There's something to keep in mind. VGN calls them pocket points. Now, pocket points are your highest drop results that cannot be scored. So they're there if you need them. If you have a bad result, you just pull out your pocket point. Now, Michael has 45 pocket points. Lehman has 55. But because of drop races, look who's going to be sitting in third place. It is indeed James Patton. Now, Patton's raw total is really low because he's missed 2 races. But if you count all the 4 results he had, that's why he's going to sit in third. Only 10 back of the leader, so watch out for Patton. Heath Smith is in fourth. He's 18 out of the lead with 47 in his pocket. Charles Widener, in truth, is in fifth. Now, he's way up in the standings because he's so consistent. But when you have to be forced to drop those races, he falls a little bit farther down. Aiden Young and Tuffy Suit Casey are your go 6 and 7. Then you have the rest of the guys down there. We'll go ahead as the season progresses. We're going to go ahead and keep a track on those actual points when they start to drop them. With that said, let's go ahead and make sure that JR and I get our VGN commentators bonus for getting through the entire field before they go green. On the pole is Aiden Young with Tuffy Suit Casey outside of him.
Row 2 inside Adam Jones, outside Zach Saunders.
Oh, you want to keep an eye on somebody? How about car number 54, Raul Alves? He came into the series last week. Oh, he was something else to watch. He's back again. Scott Patton sitting third in those drop points in sixth.
Rolling off in row 4 inside, we got Brandon Groover, outside Charlie Widener.
Row 5, populated by Michael Milford and Rob Haynes.
Rolling off in 11th, Daniel Miglin. Outside in 12th place, Math Matumbolt.
The Baker's dozen spot is Christopher Craigie. Haven't heard much of him since the opening round at Daytona, with Chris Sargent in the number 66 outside of him.
Inside row 8, we got Kerry Cleaver in that 69 car. Outside, starting 16th, Landon Hendershot.
Ding ding in 17th, it's Justin Bell with Zachary Groover in 18th.
Rolling off in 19th, Wen Jin Wang. Outside in 20th, Justin Michael.
Ooh, Justin Michael way down the order. Hidden blackjack. It's Jose Santa Cruz with Heath Smith, another top scorer in the double deuce spot.
Rolling off in row 12, inside Zach Chapman in that 72 car. Outside in the 77, Jack Watts.
Brandon Vees and James Lehman. My goodness, so up in the points, but way down in the 26. He's got a long way to go.
Rolling off in 27th place, Mason Knapp. Alongside in 28th will be Cal Majowski.
Baby boy of Heath, it's Ty Smith in 29th with Andrew Fabian in 30th.
Rolling off 31st, Jordan Nees. Outside in 32nd place, Greg Parmalee.
In the 82, he says he's only here so he doesn't get fined. It's Peyton Bass. Outside of him, Chris Braley.
Row 18, inside in that 83 car, David Rigsby. Outside in the 88, Christopher Howe.
Brad Slagle will go in the 37th spot with Michael Van outside of him.
Rolling off in 39th place, our final starter in tonight's race, Kyle Kabosh.
Big field. I was watching practice. The boys seem to have this down. I'm surprised to see the qualifying so mixed up. Some big names way in the back. So we'll have to watch them go through the field. Remember, bonus points at the stage break, which I believe is, correct me if I'm wrong on this, lap 27. They change it every week. If I've done my homework, I think I know where that one's going to be. Beautiful shot as they roll underneath the camera. What a beautiful day here in Illinois to go sim racing. Aiden Young has been hot of late in the 69. Tuffy Sue Casey had a real impressive start to the season. Then it's kind of faded. It's nice to see him back up there in the Tide machine up front. Adam Jones back there watching, waiting for somebody to make some room on this start. See if he can make some ground up. JR? Draft versus aero push. What do you think?
Yeah, the draft is still big in these new ARCA style cars, the new bodies and everything, especially on a 1.5 or larger track. So the draft is huge, but when you get to those corners, you're going to have to fan out a little bit. You cannot run the same line as that car in front of you. If you do, your front tires are going to get angry. So you're definitely going to have to at least put half of your car out of line from the driver ahead once you get to the corners. But the draft is going to be big. I think if you're the leader, it's going to be difficult to get away from somebody, at least for 15 or 20 laps. After that, they may burn up their stuff and you can get away.
I was listening to some of the talk during practice. They said, tell me if this makes sense. The fast line might be the low line, but you can't stay there long because it's going to cost you tire-wise. Middle or high might be the place to run if you're thinking about a long run. That makes sense?
Absolutely. I think the fast line tonight is going to be middle to high up the racetrack just because of what you said. Running that low line, it may be fast for a few laps, but it's going to wear out your stuff, so you're going to have to be very patient here tonight.
Pace car is in. We start the second half of the season here. We are glad you are with us. Gather up the chickens, take cover on the cows because the horses are out of the barn. It is Aiden Young Gun Young in the 069 out in front. Tuffy Sue Casey in that orange Tide machine up top. We talked about the bottom line. Let's see if the 41 can make it work. That's Brandon Groover down there. He's got a good run, but look at the top side. That's the 97 of Zach Saunders. Saunders is a part-timer. When he shows up, he's fast. He's not up in the standings, but look for him. He's a threat to win.
Absolutely. That outside line, they are getting lined up. They know that's where they need to be ultimately, so no real jockeying out there right now. You see Tuffy Sue Casey, he's going to go by on the outside and get this lead.
Aiden Young took it way down to the Chicago grass, but they roll around the top side now. Watch out for the number 97. That's Zach Saunders. He's quick. The white number 46 is also moving. We talked about Scott Patton. He's missed 2 races. But boy, when he races, he's really good, and he's working the top side right now.
Yeah, he's extremely good, and one of the things about him is that he understands the car. He has a good feel for this car, so he knows how to take care of it throughout the run. We see Aiden Young down there on the bottom right now. He's continuing to fall back, stuck on that inside line.
Pass, look at the 155 Milford under attack now. Here comes Widener.
Oh, we got a spin down the backstretch. Some cars that went through the infield. That's the 777 there.
That's the 777 of Christopher Craigie. Got together, I believe that was the 41 who got him. That's one of the Groovers.
Yeah, so Groover just in the wrong place at the wrong time there. Yeah, Christopher coming on the high side right there, and it's a little bit odd at this racetrack. Coming off of turn 2, the wall does kind of juke out a little bit, so it's kind of deceiving on how much you can allow the car to push up because the backstretch is kind of curved, and it's a little bit hard to see from the views that we're doing from an aerial shot. You can really see it, but the 777 just allowed his car to go up a little too high, hit that wall, and then bounce back into traffic. And yeah, just again, the 41 there of Groover just nowhere to go. I mean, he had no idea this was coming. So unfortunate for him because no fast repairs, and he does have a lot of damage on the front end.
Let's go ahead and put the camera on the car in 16th position right now. This is Jordan Nees. He's up 15 spots. A very nice run for him. Kyle Kabosh also having a nice run. He's down in 24th, up 15 as well. All right, I see some people coming into pit lane already. Don't know if those were the guys who were involved in the incident. No, there's too many guys. We had some people actually coming in, including Tuffy Casey. No, that's not right. Tuffy didn't come in. No, he didn't. I apologize.
Yeah, and you know, so something for the viewers at home. I mean, these drivers, they only have 3 sets of tires in the pits. So definitely this early in the race, I don't think anybody's going to come in and get tires. But if you're toward the back of the pack, no reason not to come in and try to get some fuel. We do know that the stage is around lap 27. Could be a little bit of strategy coming into there, I would think, based on the past races, that we could definitely get to lap 27 on fuel. But some of these drivers may already be thinking about strategy and having just a little bit of extra fuel in the tank.
I heard talk of somewhere about 35 was a stint. That seemed a little short to me, but does that sound right?
That sounds about right, because they only got 70% fuel load in these cars.
Right.
So, yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so Casey's still out in front. Saunders is going to be outside of him. Those are 2 tough drivers. Scott Patton, we know, has been good. Michael Milford outside of row 2. Again, big bonus points, JR, for getting to that stage. It's 10 points for a stage win, and it's only 50 points for a race win. So those stage wins are huge, especially if you're thinking championships.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about races that offer stage points is that you can have a bad night and still do okay in points if you had a stage win. So, you know, you finish 1, 2, 3rd place in the stage, you still got some decent points. You can finish mid-pack and still have a good points day. So very, very important just in case things don't go your way later.
Yeah, and there's bonus points for poles, which Aiden Young has already picked up. Bonus point for leading a lap. Bonus points for most laps led. So that's why you'll see those guys race up top. In fact, you'll watch that yellow car there. I'm going to assume it's yellow. The citrus flavored car is Zach Saunders outside of row 1. Look for him to make a run. I'm getting confirmation that my rods and codes didn't fail me that time. Go ahead and play the VGN consumption game anyway. Take a sip. All right, the pace car's in. We're going to be going green, working lap number 7. Good jump from Casey. Working on the inside. That's Patton.
I was questioning Casey's move to take the inside line on that restart based on the initial start, but when you get a jump like that, it doesn't matter which lane you're in. So he did a great job on that start. Let's see if he can get back up in line and control this pack here.
Oh my goodness, the inside line did not go. I don't know if that was because of just the draft that was given up front. The outside line was going. Getting in the wall a little bit of the 155 of Milford. He tries to get it straightened out. Now they spread out as they come across the start-finish line.
Yeah, and definitely that inside line is going to be harder to run the longer you have laps on your tires, the more wear you get. You can see Scott Patton there on the inside, and I believe we've already got another caution out on the Speedway. We'll have to see what this one is for at the moment, but the caution is out.
Looks like it involves the 76 of Young Zhang Wang. A little bit of an argument over space between him and the 311 of Jose Santa Cruz.
Oh, yeah, that's not really sure what caused the 311 to be down on the apron, but definitely down on the apron entering turn one there. And yeah, when you do that, there's nowhere to go, and we definitely see some ARCA style braking there late. Yeah, I'm just not sure why the 311 got down there. Something upset his car or pushed him down on that apron before he got to turn one.
I think it was the 50 of James Lehman that got him a little bit loose. James is up there in the points, started well down the order in 26th, has worked up 11 spots so far, and I think he might have had a little bit going on there.
Yeah, and you know, we don't talk about it a whole lot, but these mile-and-a-half tracks where you can use the apron on the front stretch, where you do see a lot of movement and jockeying because of the draft, little bitty, you know, just little bitty pieces of contact with another driver, something that normally wouldn't hurt you on a short track, can really upset the car and send you into a bad spot. So more of that to come probably.
JR, these are fixed setups, so everyone's racing the same thing. We've heard that they're a little bit tight, but at least everyone's trying to manage the same thing going on. I'm really surprised to see guys like Lehman so far down the order. Is qualifying difficult, or is it just so close that a little mistake makes a big difference, or what do you think?
It's a couple of things. Little mistakes do make a big difference in this car. These are ARCA cars. They're momentum type race cars when you come to mile-and-a-halfs. But I can say that driving these cars in qualifying requires a little bit different driving style than what you would do during the race. During the race, you're really worried about managing the tires on a track like this. And if you get yourself throughout practicing managing those tires, you may forget that you got to be a little bit aggressive when it comes qualifying time and turn that steering wheel a little bit more, hold that throttle down a little bit more. And like we said, just little bitty things can cause you to be way down the running order because qualifying was super tight here.
Well, last time we had a yellow flag, we pointed out the movement of the number 12 of Jordan Nees, who was 15 spots at that time. He's worked his way up from 31st to 13th. Don't know what he's doing, but that car is coming. Keep an eye on the number 12. Drivers getting the wave around. We started with 39 drivers. 36 are still on the lead lap. Raul Alves, first car 1 lap down. Not sure what happened to the 54. Long caution periods here at Chicago. We're going to go around one more time. You know what? They're just crossing the start-finish line right now, Director. Go ahead. No, they're on the back straight. I'm sorry. Come on, Soup. Get with us. All right. Next time around, we'll dial up. We'll bring somebody in and talk to them, see how they're doing. Your big mover so far, Knees. Peyton Bass says his whole family's watching him. Well, folks, he's doing good. Peyton up 16 spots. All right, last time we went green on lap number 7. This time we're going to go green on lap number 12. Another good jump from Casey. My partner said he questions him starting on the inside, but when he gets a good jump like that, that kind of makes sense. Now watch the 97 of Zach Saunders. He's on the inside. Nowhere to go with the 46 of Patton. Pinning him down. Patton with a run on the outside. Go, JR.
Yeah, absolutely. Patton's going to get a run on the outside there. Casey was not able to clear, and this is going to be bad news for him because there's several guys lined up on that outside right now, and I'm afraid he's just going to go backwards like we saw early in the race with Aiden Young.
There you go, and they do go by. There goes the second car through and the third car through. Patton trying to cover all the ways as he's blocking the top and the bottom. The 155 of Milford works through. No room for Casey to get up there. Comes the 199 of Haynes. Ducking up to the top is the 95. Oh, nowhere for the 95 to go as Widener had to put on the brakes. Now he gets underneath. Great racing going on for about fourth.
Yeah, big time racing. We've got 3 wide here coming off the corner and a crash up in turn 4. We got the 12. Oh, the 31 makes hard contact.
Oh, we've been talking about the progress of Jordan Nees. Well, it all comes to an end as he gets involved in that one.
Yeah, we'll get a look at the replay. We saw it a little bit after, but these cars are not handling good right now. I saw several of the leaders slipping and sliding. This track is slick. These tires have heat cycles in them, and they are not handling as well as they were at the beginning of this race. But definitely Nees, he was taken out in that, slid back down the track, and I saw Daniel Miglin actually be the one that was unfortunate getting into him while trying to slow down. Yeah, just see a bobble, like a 3-4 wide type situation, and these cars, like I said, they're really moving around. Not a lot that these drivers can do once they start to slip and slide if you've got other cars beside you, especially when you're like 3 wide. So not a lot you can do there. And again, Miglin unfortunately being taken out in that. He had nowhere to go to avoid that.
Look at it one more time, and there you do. It is 4 wide.
Yeah, Nees just kind of got into the wall, had a little bit too much corner entry speed. He was trying to hang on to it, the car getting loose after he came off the wall down into traffic, and he'd have been fine if he didn't have 3 other cars underneath him. Just kind of ran out of room to work with there.
Well, it's always interesting after we see a big one like that, and then go ahead and you check the chart for big movers. Who's coming up? We got a new name in there. It is, Peyton Bass, of course, up 20 spots. And how about Brad Sligel? Up 19 as well. Started way back in the, where did Sligel start here? He's currently in 18th spot. Started back in 37th. Sometimes you can get them on the track. Sometimes you can get them when they're off in the grass. All right, director, find somebody for me to talk to. Is Aiden Young available, or who we got? Who can we talk to? We got Aiden Young. Aiden, it's Soup up here in the booth. Before I let JR have a question, let's talk about the start. You were up on the pole. The inside didn't work for you, or were you just letting him go by?
Just kind of conserving tires there for the first 10 laps, just to make sure I had enough to end the stage.
Hey, I know we don't have a whole lot of green flag laps on these tires, but how different is this car handling at this point? I see a lot of guys really slipping and sliding right now.
Definitely if you overdrive it middle of the corner, like get on the gas too hard, you will hit the outside wall, so you just got to be patient with it.
All right, man, we'll keep an eye on you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Aiden Young started on the pole. Will be starting outside of row 3. Probably won't be upset with that. Again, he's thinking stage points as well. Wants to have something to race with here when we get to the end of the stage. Scott Patton, your leader.
Yeah, it's interesting, Soup. These guys, they keep taking that inside line on this restart. And I know some of the reasoning. They're hoping they get that initial jump. Also, they can kind of cut down the track after they go across start-finish line to kind of shorten their way down into turn 1. But, man, if you make just a little bit of mistake, we saw in that last restart how that outside line can really prevail.
Yeah, you got to make it work if you're going to try it. Okay, pace car is in. Scott Patton has led 4 laps. It'll be 5 as he comes across right now. The question is, will he be leading his 6 laps when we make our way around? Good start from the 46. And now he can move up if he wants to, and he does. Now let's see if Casey on the inside can make it work. He was pinned down there once before, and it looks like he's going to be pinned down there again. The 155 of Milford's going to roll. Here comes the 199 of Haynes. The top side is rolling. The 97 of Saunders ducks up top as well. The 95 of Widener would like to get in there. Casey pinned underneath. They are 3 wide behind him, though. Be careful. Widener is stuck in the middle. It is 3 Widener right now with the 690 up there rolling by as well.
Yeah, so that outside line continuing to move. My opinion, if you're down on the bottom, we see 4 wide action. Oh, yeah, Lehman's going to get in the outside wall a little bit, but he keeps it going.
He was on the very outside, put it in the wall. Ducking out of there was the 87 of Justin Michael. Said, I don't want any part of this. He backed out of it. Lehman slows down. The cars get around him that are in front of him. Fun racing.
It's absolutely fun. It's a little bit frustrating as a driver, or tense, I should say. But the one thing you have to do, I was talking about it a little bit, if you're on that inside line, as we see the 155 make a move on the outside, if you get stuck on that inside line, we're seeing Scott Patton here, you've just got to be calm and keep it collected down there. You cannot overdrive that car. If you do, you're going to wear out those tires faster, and you're going to go way to the back of this field.
We're looking back at this battle back there that involves the 46 of Patton. They are 2 by 2 by 2 behind him.
Yeah, Soup, I think you're at this point. I know we're only 20 laps in, but you're starting to see the drivers that we expect to be running up front make their way to the front here. Several players up here now. We got Widener and Lehman are coming in. We see some more contact from the 97 of Saunders hitting turn 4 on the exit there. But these drivers, they're all getting themselves positioned. We see 3 wide into 1.
That's Lehman who's taking it low underneath the 95 of Widener. They are 3 Widener again. I tell you, Widener keeps getting in those, and we got a caution. See who this one may be. If I'm looking at the right thing, did it involve the 99 of Makowski, maybe? Rayleigh might have been in it. We're looking for it.
Oh, yeah, it's just, let's see, off of turn 4 there. We see Hal just barely get into the back of the car in front of him. That sent the car down to the inside through the grass, and I'm guessing this is just one of those deals where that car on the apron was just slow enough as faster cars went by, but I see smoke up ahead as well, so something else may have happened once we got down to the
I think this is it. That's Makowski there that got turned. That's the one I saw, and he spins around, and that's one that brought out the, boy, look at all the pieces on the track. That looks more like a caution flag.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just a situation kind of going bad in the turn 1 there. And this is the deal, we kind of talked about it, when you've got that apron to work with on the inside of the track, you'll always have guys that'll try to go down on that apron. There's nothing wrong with doing it. It's just when you go to rejoin, everybody is not always fully aware, and we had a 3 wide situation there. I think Majowski thought that he was going to be clear going into the bottom of the track or into turn 1 low, and it just wasn't the case in that matter. But a 3 wide situation, it's hard to judge sometimes.
So the top 15 have not made a stop. Give a quick look here at the lead driver who has made a stop. It looks like it might be down to might be Chapman. A little farther down. There you go. You can see that right there.
Yep, and I'm surprised that we don't see a few more cars down on pit road right now. We know that the stage break is going to happen at lap 27. If we get back to green, which I anticipate we will, it's only going to be a couple of laps. You could certainly come in and get your tires and fuel and get yourself some track position after that stage if you're already outside of stage points position right now. So, yeah, I'd expect to see pit road a little fuller than what it is.
And then, JR, you expect those guys that just made the stop, that they will probably, you would think, a lot of them would stay out, and actually they'll have almost no wear on their tires, as all the laps that will be run will be under caution. So pretty much they'll be ready to go. Yeah,
absolutely. Any green flag laps that we get here, you could literally just ride around. It's only going to be a couple of laps. You're not going to go a lap down just riding around. So take care of your tires, and you've essentially got a brand new set, and you get track position. So it's really the best thing that you can do. And yeah, if you just had bad luck and can't make a whole lot of passes, go get yourself some track position.
How far are we going tonight? Well, you can see right up there. 24 laps gone. 75 is how far we have to go before we throw the checkered flag. All right, big points to be made here. And we look at Michael Milford out in front. Now, I'm scoring him as the leader, and it looks like, JR, he might have been listening to the broadcast. Has he chosen the outside line? He is indeed the leader, I guess, according to iRacing.
Yeah, he's going to be the leader. He's in the preferred position to start with, so he should have the initial jump advantage, plus he's going to have the preferred line once they get down to turn 1. He does not need to clear Patton here. He just needs to be side by side once they get to turn 1, and he should have the advantage.
A great start, a bad start from Patton. Rolling is Milford. The 95 rolling as well. That's Widener. Patton tucks down into third. They're about a little bit farther back. Lehman in the 50 on the inside line, working on the inside of the 87.
Yeah, and whereas before we did not see those inside drivers get too aggressive, they're going to get a little bit aggressive here. They have a chance to get some stage points. So we've already seen some slight contact coming off of turn 2. You see Lehman ducking it all the way down to the grass, trying to shortcut the front stretch.
Did not work for him. Remember, Lehman and Michael are separated by just a couple of points in the standings. Michael racing ahead of him right now. In fact, he's got the 87 up into 4th position.
Yeah, Justin Michael, he's right there in that car we see running the highest on the track, the 87. He is trying to make that high line work. You will lose some ground on entry, but he's going to make up a ton of ground down the straightaways because he's got that speed and that momentum, and look at him close up on the leaders here.
Oh my goodness, that was Patton with a run. He was working the outside line. New leader, Charles Widener, up to the front.
Yeah, and I saw Michael getting the wall slightly off of turn 2. He's going to be all right, but he's pushing as hard as he can. He wants every single point, but up front, Widener continues to lead.
Coming across to the start-finish line, finishing lap number 27. Winning the stage, Charles Widener. Those are 10 points he'll need. We talked about Scott Patton. He's going to pick up 9 more. Milford. Michael, who's in that race with Lehman, he comes home in 4th spot on the stage, so that would be 10.987 for him. You got to go a ways down before you get down to Lehman in 8th. He'll pick up 3. Now we're turning our attention to the leaders and see who comes in. My prediction here, when everything sorts out, Zachary Chapman is going to be your race leader. Here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Who stays out? Well, look at this. So more people came down than I thought.
Yeah, definitely a little bit shocked that we have so many people coming down. You know, you think we'd had a little bit of a mixed strategy deal going, but overall, not that many drivers did that pitting early in order to get some track position. We got a couple that stay on track, but ultimately, these drivers that are pitting are going to come back out close to where they were.
Raul Alvis and Rob Haynes. Now, Alvis is fast. He is a very confident driver. Probably not going to be quite as exciting with nobody in front of him. And certainly Rob Haynes is quick. Then out of all the guys who made the stops, Patton comes out of pit lane first. Widener, Milford, Michael, Casey, Saunders, all big names. Young.
Yeah, now those two drivers that stayed out, they pitted about 6 laps earlier. Only, 3 of those laps, I think, are under green flag conditions. So they don't have a huge difference, but I do think it'll start to show up about 15 laps in, just because now they've got a heat cycle through those tires compared to these other drivers who are on fresh rubber. So at some point that's going to show up, and I think it'll show up more as they start to get passed by a couple of drivers. Once they get that clean air taken away from them, it'll become more difficult.
Let's look at car number 21. We haven't seen him for a while. His father's name is Trig. His mother's name is Algebra. So what do they call their little boy? It's Math Montembeau. Good to see him out here. Racing right now in 10th spot. Up 3 spots from where he started. All right, let's see what these guys have for us up front. Don't go anywhere. You want to keep your eye on Raul Alves. Pace car pulls in. Going to be going green, working lap number 31. Great start from the 54. Alves with a good jump. The 199 going nowhere on the outside. That's going to little Patton to get to the inside, but can he finish the pass? We'll find out. Rob Haynes on the top side. That's the side that'll work. He brings the 199 right down. Patton down in there. Patton drifts up a little bit. Haynes leaves them enough room. They drift up to the top. Momentum now to the 199. He also has the draft behind the 54 of Alves. He's coming.
Going around. We don't have a caution on the racetrack, but we saw Chapman. He goes around. Howell got collected. Howell has lost his front nose, and then we got cars going sideways coming off of turn 4 through the grass. A lot of confusion right now. I think a lot of drivers expected a caution to be out, but we stay green on the racetrack, and these leaders, they're going to be approaching this area of the track shortly.
Come on, boys, get it sorted out. I think we're okay. Some Ben-Hur racing here. Talking about throwing caution to the wind. They threw the caution flag to the wind. 3 wide behind them.
Yeah, that's that 3 wide condition that you worry about going into turn 1. These drivers make it work. They're fully aware of where each other were, and it's early enough in the race. We got enough rubber there. Milfeld's actually going to make that inside move work temporarily. Haynes paddling back on the outside.
Alves racing away with it, but he's got himself about a 3-car late lead. Let's see what the draft does now with the 199. Here come Haynes. Haynes is tucked right in behind Alves, trying to get a run. Also tucked in there as well is Patton. Patton looks to the inside now. Let me correct myself. That's the 155. That is Milford moving to the inside. Haynes on the outside. Patton back behind. The 87 coming on the outside. That's Justin Michael.
Yeah, Milfeld's trying to make this work. He needs to get by Haynes as quickly as possible, but he's going to lose momentum there, and that's going to give Justin Michael, who I believe is on the freshest rubber out there out of this group, the advantage, and he's going to be in that outside line. If he can make it stick, he'll be preferred going down the back straightaway here.
How about what Raul Alves have been able to do? Out in front for 6 laps, and nobody giving him much challenge. Well, as I say that, Haynes puts it in the wall, and he gets a little bit of a hello from the 87. That's Michael.
Oh, Haynes did a nice job not to create a big mess there, and he comes away with a car that's still going to be raceable, even though he's bouncing off the wall a little bit. So very, very nice job there.
There is racing going all the way through the pack. 3 wide, a little farther back, rolling up on top. That's the 60. Slagle making a move. That's Justin Bell in the 60. He's coming. Watch Justin Bell. That guy has been working his way through the field. The car looks really good. Well, that goes on, a new leader. Well, we had a new leader, but Alvis fights back. Boy, they are banging behind him.
Close racing down that back straightaway, and it's very difficult back there. And you see this? The leader there, Raul, he's watching in his mirror, and you got to do that a little bit in these cars because they're so aero dependent. He knew that Justin Michael was going to go down to the inside, and he went down there to block that air. You see how fast Michael is on the inside there with that clean air, but as soon as Raul got in front of him, he flicked away. Now there's contact, and the loser there is going to be Justin Michael for a moment.
Raul got in the wall, came down, got into Michael. They keep it going straight. I don't think they're done hitting yet. Michael on the inside. That's Casey out in front now. Rolling on the top side. They managed to keep it going. Watch out, though, because Raul is just cruising for a bruising back there in the number 54 as he has the 87 fit down, and the 87 says enough of you. Like Kirk to a Cleon, pushes him out.
Yeah, I mean, just for those watching at home that want to get into sim racing a little bit, Raul was being pretty aggressive when he didn't need to be there. He had already lost the lead, and he was trying to battle Justin Michael down on the inside of the apron, which really threw Justin Michael's entry off bad. And in these type of cars, once you throw that entry off, there's not a lot you can do. You can see Raul chases him all the way down. These are the only cars that are side by side. And when Justin Michael's trying to come back up to get an entry, Raul's still holding him down. And in return, Michael's car just pushes up the track. There's not much he can do there. I know Raul's not going to be happy about that, but there's not a lot you can do when you're being pinned down that hard going into turn one.
You can almost hear him saying, "I have had enough of you." That was good. Unfortunately, caught out of it. I think it was it Bell? It was either the 12 or the 21 that got caught up in that one. We'll look at it one more time here.
Yeah, definitely. That's the 21 actually. Getting caught up in that, and his day's going to be over because the entire front end is knocked off of that car. We do not have fast repairs, and you may be able to turn a few more laps past a couple of people that are now out of the race, but that's it. You're not going to have any kind of car to have speed or try to race with.
That was Matt Montebeau who got caught up in that one. We just mentioned him. He was working his way through the field, got up there where the action is, and then that's it. So, all right, so now we have pit stops, and it looks like the nearest guy up from, well, Alvis is taking a stop. The first big name that I see doing it, Heath Smith. So that's a guy with the talent and the tempo to go ahead and win this one. We'll see how it sorts out when everyone is said and done here. Scott Patton. No, we'll go ahead. Groover. Brandon Groover took a stop. He's going to be well up the order. Milford is going to be well up the order. Scott Patton took pit stop. He'll be up there. Hey, James Lehman came in for a stop.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, Soup, because we've got drivers, it looks like on my screen, I think the top 7 pitted on lap 28. The other drivers have pitted this time, so going to have a little bit mixed conditions as far as the tires that are on these vehicles. So the racing's going to get a little bit interesting here, and if you're one of those drivers that are up front, you need to be expecting to get past. That doesn't mean you can't race, but you need to expect to get past and not be too aggressive. Otherwise, you could get yourself in a bad situation.
JR, consider me foolish for even talking about a green flag stint or a would tires be an issue? Would this be a case where you could run it all the way till the tank was empty, or do you think you'd have to stop early because the lap times would diminish so fast?
The drivers that can, that have a good handling on this car, that know how to drive it and take care of their stuff, they can get to the end of this race and still have lap times that are good enough to not be overcome by somebody who makes a stop under green flag conditions. but you've got to be able to take care of it. And a lot of these guys, from what I've seen, they really want to be aggressive, especially on corner entry. And if you do that lap after lap, you're actually going to have so much tire wear that the car is going to turn absolutely zero once you get to the corner. And that is enough lap time loss that somebody could overcome you by making that pit stop.
All right, we get going. A good start from Casey from the inside line. A driver we have been watching out there is Bell. Bell now on the inside. He's got Young to his outside. That's a battle for third position. In the popcorn position, watching them both run, Brandon Gruber having a good run. But he's going to lose the spot as Michael Milford goes underneath him.
Yeah, and as we watch these drivers up front, what they're hoping for in these conditions is that we run about 15 green flag laps and then we get another caution, because that's going to allow them to have the advantage. Right now, those drivers that stayed out, they're trying to get a net gain. They're hoping that we get another caution and they're running, better than they were before this last caution came through.
And the top of those drivers is Milford in the 155 with the fresh rubber.
So you can see how hard these drivers are pushing right now. They're right against the wall through the corners. It does not take much to slip up and make contact with that outside wall, and when you do, it's usually going to cause a checkup, and that's where we're going to see more excitement in this race. These drivers are pushing really hard, but particularly through turns 3 and 4.
Padden had a great run to the inside, but then Lehman went down to block him. Now Lehman in the 50 going to make it 3 wide. Padden watching from behind, might follow Lehman through. Lehman is really quick. Oh man, they are really bunched up. We got a caution, but it's not up front.
Yeah, and that for me is where I expected to see some action, was up front. Well, there was a lot of action, just not any contact to bring out a caution. That's going to happen a little bit further back in the pack. We see here we got the 65 311 side by side, and Widener, oh man. That is 2 of our contenders, not only in this race, but the championship. Justin Michael and Charles Widener actually getting taken out in a wreck. Widener was trying to check up and kind of got ran into from behind there.
See if they get wide.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. I don't know what kind of led up to that. Obviously, we know Justin Michael having some contact during the last caution. To me, either that driver I couldn't identify him that was on the inside either got really tight or didn't like something that Justin did there.
I'm not sure how many of those cars are going to be able to come back out on that one. Pretty good hits.
Yeah, and again, they took away the quick repair that they used to have here to try to eliminate some of the accidents that were happening, but it's unfortunate when it happens to you. They do have drop weeks. Obviously, those are some contenders in the championship, but they're going to have to use those drop weeks now and hope for better races.
Well, as JR talked about, all those guys who stayed out, I believe, have indeed come in. And they will sort down to the back, but it's really not horrible now with only 21 cars on the lead lap. You're within shouting distance, at least, of the leaders, and if you get yourself a nice set of fresh rubber out there, who knows what you can do.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit earlier in the race. We got drivers that are staying out on this run. They pitted last time, so there's going to be about a 6-lap difference. The top 9 kind of pitted back on lap 40. When we go green, it'll be about lap 48 here. But so you've got a handful of laps. You've had a heat cycle in the tires. It's not going to be a significant difference, especially starting out. But if we get 10 or 15 laps into the run, you'll start to see those drivers that have the older rubber start to have a little more handling conditions that are unfavorable compared to those that just pitted. So a little bit of managing is going to have to take place with those drivers that are up front to not over abuse those tires. Make those drivers that just pitted work hard to make passes. Let them use their tires up.
And what's a poor guy got to do to get a little love from VGN? How about the 052 of Brad Slagle? Started in 37th spot. We only started with 39, folks. So you do the math there. He's racing in 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge gains. And, you know, we've kind of looked at him off and on. You know, the last mile and a half, he finished 17th. So I did expect him to be up around, you know, the top 15, maybe even inside the top 10. But big run for him so far tonight. He's doing exactly what he needs to get up there around this top 5. And you never know, Soup. Once you get some cleaner air on your nose, you might just have enough speed to stay there. Yeah,
and on the same pit strategy as all the leaders. Okay, it's a jump from the outside for Milford. Now let's see if Slagle can get going. That's Lehman getting a bit of a push from Patton, saying, let's go. James says, I'm doing the best I can. Now Scott inside of Brad. Slagle on the outside, Patton on the inside. So Slagle's going to have to do it all by himself, JR. He has no drafting help out there. Maybe a little bit of help now from the leader. Milford drifts up. Maybe that top line worked. Now Milford comes down.
He had just enough to get a run up off of turn 4, and he's going to continue to run the middle of the track there behind Milfeld. And I don't know that he's going to get there. I think Lehman's going to be able to come up on the straightaway, but chooses not to. So that's going to give Slagle that run on the outside.
Up on the outside. He's not done. Oh, takes it in deeper than Buddha's belly button. Does Slagle. They come out of 4. Cialis bathtubs down the front straight. Now Slagle moves to the grass to give a little more distance between him and the 155.
It was a big move, Soup. I'm just not sure it's going to pay off for him, but he may have a hole to get back into. So that's exactly what you want. If you make a big move, you need to find a hole to get back into. If it does not work, he made it work right there.
No friends for James Lehman, but maybe he doesn't need any friends. Working the inside, burning up that tires, trying to get that position. Slagle almost puts it to the wall. Maybe he got a piece of it. Lehman gives him plenty of room, goes down to the inside, comes back up. That is Patton with a great run on the outside line. Watch out for the 26. Hey, it's Andrew Fabian. Have not heard from that country yet. Welcome. He's now being attacked from the 40 of Casey.
Yeah, absolutely. Casey, one of those cars that pitted this last time around. So he is the lead car out of that group that pitted most recently. He's making good use of those tires, and he aims to get back to this front.
The difference is only 5 laps, and I'm not sure how many of those were under green, but Casey is fast. Nobody what tires he's racing with right now. But a great job out there from Fabian. Started in 30th position, rolling the top side around Casey right now. He's got the 97 of Zach Saunders behind him. Remember, Saunders is fast. He doesn't race full time, but when he does race, he's always a threat. Battle for the lead now. Look into the inside. Slagle, no, it's not for lead. It's for second. Look into the inside on the 46 of Patton. Patton's going to fend him off.
Yeah, Patton in the preferred position. He's going to have the momentum going down the front stretch. A big run on Milfeld, but he just really had nowhere to take it. You see him actually trying to go higher up the racetrack. He's going to lose some ground, but should have good momentum with Lehman behind him.
Slagle couldn't get it to work. He drops. Saunders is coming. Saunders finds some room between the wall and him and Lehman. Lehman now stuck in the middle. Great racing from these guys. Patton working the top, working the bottom, going back and forth like a jaywalking milkman. 3 wide behind. The low line seems to be the way to go, but Slagle does not have the momentum. Lehman is going to squeeze in there. He has to give way to the top side. Sanders is rolling it. That's going to bring Casey in behind Sanders. Great run from the 40. The guys who were stuck on the low side, it didn't work out for him. But Lehman haven't given up the ghost yet. Oh, losing a lot of ground up on top was Saunders as he got really wide, almost put it in the wall. Lost a lot of momentum. What racing we are watching. Sweet sassy Molassie.
Yeah, this is exactly the type of race we talked about in pre-race that we expected is very close, tight, side-by-side racing. These drivers have been 3 wide multiple times. See a little bit of contact. Slagle up into Lehman off of turn 2, but they keep it straight and moving. These drivers are racing hard, but they seem to be fully aware of where their cars are and what they're doing.
Hey, turn on the lights. Look who it is. Jack Watts in the 77. having a good run as he gets around. That is the car under these. He gets around Slagle. Slagle begins to fade. Slagle fighting back. Good to see the 77 of Watts in the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now up 18 spots trying to pass Slagle, so he's had some good momentum. He's one of those drivers we haven't talked a lot about, but he's kept his car clean, and now he's got track position late in the race.
Boy, if I'm watching the way these guys are driving, I don't see anybody racing harder than the 50 of Lehman. I have seen him dive it in deep down low. Boy, he gets it up right there. It's a 3 wide again. He clears it out. The 97 of Saunders is okay. The 40 of Casey on the top side. Lehman is working hard. He's got the talent. I just don't know if he's using up all of his stuff.
He's definitely having to work harder than anybody else. The two drivers that are in the best position right now are Milfelt and Patton in first and second place because they've been kind of cruising since that last caution. So they've got the best set of tires, I feel like, because they've had a lot of clean air on there. But Lehman's continuing to charge. Yeah. He's going to try to go for more in turn 1 here.
Nobody has been working the bottom line as much as the 50 of Lehman. And he does it again. I think Patton's just smiling at us. I'll just stay up here and just cruise around in my number 46 on the top line. Nice and easy up here. Casey says, that sounds like a good idea to me. Zach Sanders says, I like that idea too.
Yeah, there's one thing that we know about Scott Patton is he definitely knows how to be good in the long run. He knows how to take care of those tires. I feel like that's what he's doing. He's just riding right now. Now, obviously, he does not want James to pass him on the inside, but as long as he can stay side by side, he does not have to worry about that pass being completed. He just needs to take care of his tires and run a comfortable line right now.
That battle up front. Lehman continues to race on the bottom. Patton just rolls through the middle line. Momentum lost to that low line. Casey now behind him. There goes Lehman again, down low. He is fearless on the bottom line.
Yeah, James and Tuffy Casey, they've been the best that I've seen running that bottom line throughout this race. You see Casey going up to the top side now, trying to make that work, but Lehman staying committed to that bottom lane, trying to make it work. Now, if he can be controlled with that and very patient, it might just pay off for him if he can get these guys on the outside to really race hard and put a little more will in it in order to stay side by side with him. They could use their stuff up, but it's going to be tough.
Boy, they are lined up on the top side behind him right now. You know, as much as Lehman is going down there, and he is making it work. I mean, he's battling for second position right now. It's not really going anywhere. As I say that, he finally gets into second. Soup, I did it. Now let's see. Now this will be interesting, JR. Now let's watch the 50 and see what his preferred line is. He's got nobody to worry about. And, well, he leaves the top open. I don't know if he's on the low line. I think he likes it down there.
I think he does, and I think he was hoping that he could do a little bit of a slide job on the 155 of Milfeld, but he just did not get him cleared, and that's going to cost him a lot of momentum down the backstretch.
So Patton gets him. Drivers we can't forget about. Slagle still back there in 7th. Watts is in 8th. Remember this name, Jordan Nees? Remember the moves he was making? Then he got caught up in some issues. I'll tell you, I scored these things. I have a yellow legal pad here. I scratched his name off. Nees started in 31st up to 9th. That guy can race.
Yeah, absolutely. He got caught up in some action early on, so he has had to overcome some obstacles for sure and come through traffic. He's back up front, so making it work tonight inside that top 10. He's hoping to gain a few more spots if these guys don't get it sorted out so well as they're going back and forth. See a lot of hard racing here.
It's funny, you watch those guys, it's probably easier to get through the mid-pack. You'd like to see guys like Nees and Watts get up to the front, Slagle, and see what they can do when they're up there. Oh my goodness, Lehman stuck on the inside, losing time now. That's Casey to the top. There's another sleeper. If you can look at the 069 of Aiden Young, he's back there. We talked to him on the interview how he was saving his stuff. I've been watching him. He is just trying to be smooth as a new jar of peanut butter. Just taking it easy, trying to have something a little bit later.
Yeah, like you said, he talked about that in his interview. The one thing we haven't had this whole race is a really good long green flag run, but we're getting that now, and that should benefit Aiden here to come through the field and have something to work with late. We see, Casey trying to get 2 passes made there, but it's not going to work for him.
He went 3 wide to the inside. He cleared him. Then when he came up, that car was drifted up. JR and I, we both took our breath away, but he got it to keep down and he case off of everybody.
That get together, man, that was a lot of sideways action, but they keep it out of the wall and going straight. That shows a lot of car control between those 2 drivers right there.
Oh, he's going around, I think, this time. No, Patton saves it. Oh, Casey got into him. He did the pit maneuver, and somehow the 46 keeps going straight.
Yeah, Patton's kind of being worked over really hard right now, so he's just wanting to get into a spot where he can get his tires cooled back down and he can get back to racing. Does not want to see that car go sideways anymore, because if it keeps it up, that's really going to overheat those rear tires. You see he's got momentum, though, back on his side. He's trying to move back forward.
All this going on behind Michael Milford, who's just out there having the time of his life right now. A nice Monday night drive. He has no idea of the horseplay that was going on behind him. Now, this is interesting. Look at the 50. We ride on board with him right now. Here's the racing line. He, unlike any other driver, takes the car down low by choice. Let's see if he does it through 3 and 4 as well. Yep.
Yeah, he does, but Milfeld has kind of called on. Milfeld was kind of running the middle of the track. That's kind of preferred lane to get the best speed. James has been making that inside lane work, so now Milfeld is kind of arcing it in, inviting James to go low, but then he's pulling back down the track to try to take some air off of him. He's not doing it as bad through turns 1 and 2, but when he gets down to turns 3 and 4, he really takes that air off of James's nose, and that's going to hurt James. He's not going to have the turn that he needs.
All these drivers, we are getting close. Oh, I can't believe these words are going to come out of my mouth. Green flag pit stops. I'm looking at a 30-lap stint here from Milford. I think, though, with only 4 to go, I think they'll probably be able to get there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be right on the limit. Some of these guys early on, we did see this pack really close together for many laps and a lot of action occurring, so it could have been some guys really trying to take care of that fuel mileage to make sure they had something to run with here. But right now you're seeing 3 drivers really play out. Milfeld, Lehman, and Young up front trying to race each other.
Chris Braley tried to get that car out of the way. They roll around. Lehman has closed up the gap. Now it's 3 car lengths back. Aiden Young, we talked about him having something at the end. Well, the end is here. Let's see what Young can do. Young got back in 3rd. Closing in on Lehman right now. He's got a good run off of 4. Lehman cuts down in front of him. Young will have to wait. All this going on behind Milford.
Yeah, and this just goes to show exactly what Aiden Young said during his interview. He was doing exactly what he said, taking care of his stuff, and this is the first run where it really starts to shine because of the long green flag run. You can see Aiden, he's able to really put his car wherever he wants to go right now, but ultimately, got to find some clean air.
That was Lehman who did it again, took it in very, very deep. He gets a good run off of 4. Now with momentum, he ducks to the inside. There's a hole for Young if he wants it. Young tucks to the outside in the popcorn position with butter all over his racing gloves. Looking at the race in front, a little bit of a hokey-doke. Now with a roll on the top side, Milford has the chase. They are side by side as they go into 3 and 4. Going underneath, there's room for Young. He gets down there. It's a new leader, Aiden Young, as he comes around with 1 lap to go, 4 quarters to go. JR, I think we can do 2 laps to go. Hang on, we come around, Young comes across, working lap number 75 right now. 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide on the last lap in the turn 1. Aiden Young's going to be in the least preferred position. You'll see Lehman and Milfeld side by side. They're making slight contact off of 2.
And back into the picture is Patton now, but there's nowhere for him to go. He gives a shove to Milford. Get going. Now Lehman working underneath. Young is back there, but he's got 3 cars to pass. They come out of corner number 4. nothing but clear track ahead of him. Coming to the line. Round number 7 goes to Michael Milford. James Lehman gets second. Scott Patton third. Young had a taste of the lead, but I have to settle for fourth. Oh, mama, cover my eyes. I've seen enough to know I've seen too much. The racing is over, but our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break, come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway and the Virtual Grip Network's 7th round coverage of the Maximum Velocity Leagues. Well, it's their ARCA series here on Monday nights. The results are in, and let's give them to you now. But before we do that, JR, James Lehman put on a great show. We thought he finished in second, but what happened?
Yeah, so he's actually showing 18 incident points at the end of this race. 16 means that you get a penalty, which is normally like a pass-through or drive-through penalty down pit road. Obviously, he didn't get the opportunity to do that, so it's going to put him at the tail end of the field here, actually one lap down as if he served that penalty. So, yeah, losing a ton of spots due to that incident limit.
Chikes, when we get to the final round and we're counting championship points, you remember this day. This one could be the trophy deciding. Let's give you the finishing order. It is Michael Milford. Had a great run. Started in 9th. He comes home the leader. Scott Patton, we talked about him in the pre-race show. He's missed 2 races, but he's going to be well up in the points, and he's a championship contender. Aiden Young, my goodness, he had a taste of the lead. Was he credited for leading a lap? He got credited for leading 1 lap. He'll have to finish 3rd. Jack Watts, how about that in the number 77? We saw him come through the field. Him and Brad Slagle, great runs from both of them, from 24th to 4th, from 37th to 5th. Well done. Zach Saunders was not as competitive as we thought. He has to settle for 6th. Back half of your top 10, Adam Jones, Tuffy Casey. In 9th position, it's Heath Smith, and then Brandon Groover, the top of the Groover brothers.
Yeah, coming home in 11th place tonight, Christopher Howell. He had a rough night, involved in an accident there, but brings it home in 11th. Justin Bell, great run. He finishes in 11th place. Greg Parmalee, he'll come home in 13th tonight. Andrew Fabian, he'll finish in 14th. Michael Van, 15th place. Jordan Nees, he had an up and down night, great run going. Had a recovery there because he was involved in an accident, but he'll come home 16th place, the last car on the lead lap. Rob Haynes, he'll come home in 17th. James Lehman, we just spoke about him. That incident limit penalty at the end moves him down into 18th place, 1 lap down. Jose Santa Cruz, he'll come home in 19th place. And Landon Hendershot will come home in 20th.
Look at some of these big names we're going to hear down here. Hidden Blackjack is Chris Braley. 22nd, 23rd, Charles Widener, Justin Michael. Oh my goodness, what a points change is going to be happening next time around. We're going to get this guy some screen time soon. Kerry Beaver Cleaver coming home in 24th. We talked about Matt Munbo. He's coming home in 25th. After that, oh, my favorite driver, but I don't know if he's the favorite driver of the rest of the drivers out there. Raul Alves will have to settle for 26th. Oh, he's fun to watch. Brandon Vees will go 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Well, that's going to be Zach Shaggy Chapman, David Ridgebeats, and Zachary Groover.
Yeah, coming home in 31st place tonight, we got Cal Majowski getting caught up in an accident. Peyton Bass will come home in 32nd. 33rd place is Kyle Kabosh. 34th place, Ty Smith. 35th place will be Chris Sargent. 36th place will be Daniel Miglin. He got caught up in an accident that was not avoidable early on. Christopher Krejci, he'll come home in 37th place. Wenjin Wang, he'll come home in 38th. And Mason Knapp will finish in 39th here tonight.
Let's dial up our race winner, Michael Milfett. Michael, congratulations. You started in 9th. Great pit stop strategy. And then, near the end of the race, a lot of nonsense going on behind you. You got a nice little gap. Then they caught up to you. You had to fight for the win.
Whew, I am wore out. That was so much fun. I love racing with these guys. This is one of the better leagues out there. I mean, we've got a few guys in here that are new and are still trying to figure their way out. But man, when you can race, rubbing's racing, and when you can race like that, it is so much fun.
Tell me about the racing line that you preferred out there.
I kind of like the middle of the track, but you wanted to stay high because nobody could pass you on the inside. So as long as you were high in the high lane, you didn't really have to worry about anybody passing you, except for maybe James Lehman to pull the slide down.
Except for maybe Lehman, I was just going to mention that seemed like the only driver that was making that low line work. Boy, he gave you a run there, and boy, take us down to that last lap. You had the lead for so long, and then you lost it for a little while. And you thought you could get it back?
Yeah, I was pretty sure with me having the outside line, I would be able to pull it off. But man, those guys gave me a run for the money. James Scott was giving me a run for the money earlier in the race. I mean, it was a blast. It was one of the funnest races I've been a part of in a while.
I'm glad. It was fun to watch. It had to be as fun to drive. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you, sir.
Your winner today, as he comes from 9th position to 1st. JR, who you got?
I'm here with Scott Patton, our runner-up finish tonight. Hey, Scott, I got to talk to you about that last run there. You look like you're in a great position, and then kind of looked like a pinball there. You kept getting ran into, sliding around a little bit. I didn't know what to expect from you, but had a huge run there at the end. Did you think you have a shot?
Yeah, for sure. We were pinball, and I didn't know where I was going to end up either. It seemed like we're going to watch it go around and around and see where we ended up when the checkered flag fell. Those guys, I think I got bounced around a little bit, and then I backed up to 4th, and those guys had, a 8-10 car length lead on me, and I was pretty content with, I guess, just sitting there. I didn't have any tires to get back to them, but once they started wrestling up there when James was throwing his slide jobs in there and having fun with that, allowed us to catch back up, and then I was like, well, we might have a shot at this, and then there was 2 to go, and I think 1 to go, and then I honestly don't even recall what happened on that lap. It's kind of a blur, so awesome racing with those guys up there. It's, we can bounce off each other and give the respect and get off the throttle and give it another shot. And hats off to Mike. He did a well of a job all night long. I know he's had some bad luck throughout the seasons, but he worked his butt off all night tonight and put the entire race together. So hats off to him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Great run there at the end for him. And I've got to ask you, because tonight was kind of unique. It's one of the few 1.5-mile tracks you guys go to, but you're going to run at a couple of tracks throughout this season that will probably race similar. So how fun is it to run this ARCA car on a track like this, where you can kind of wear the tires out, slide around, move around and change lanes, and just make passes, side by side racing like we saw here tonight? How fun is that?
Yeah, for sure. iRacing did a hell of a job with the aerodynamics here, the tires, everything. In the first stage, I kind of told myself my normal go-to is to back up a little bit and kind of play the tire strategy, with the Cup cars and the Xfinity trucks, that sort of thing. And then I kind of told myself in that first stage, like, screw it, let's just go out and hammer down, stay up there in the top 5 and see how it plays out. And the tires kind of stuck, and playing the aerodynamics and being smart about the moves proved to me to be vastly superior to just sitting and waiting for the tires to save tires and make moves late in the run. So that gave me the freedom I needed to feel comfortable racing the rest of the race the way that we wanted to up front. We got stuck with a bunch of those yellows in the first 2/3 of the race, but that last green flag run is what this league is all about, and that was a hell of a lot of fun there.
It's definitely fun to be up in the broadcast booth watching. Before I let you go, 2-part question here. I know you've not ran all the races this season. Do you plan on running the remaining races, kind of challenge for that championship, because you've been moving up? And then also we're going to Iowa next week, so 100 laps there. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, first with the championship, sure. If I got a chip in a chair, I'm in for the championship. I know we missed some here and there. We make the ones that we can, but you give me a shot, and I'm going to give it my best for sure. And Iowa next week, 3/4 mile or so flatter track is right in my wheelhouse, much more so than these 1.5 miles. So it'll be interesting to see if these cars race similar with the tire wear and whatnot, see if they're as racy as they are at a track like this. I know Iowa's got that progressive banking, so we've had some really awesome racing there, even in the trucks and whatnot. So yeah, super excited to see how this ARCA car races in the cornfields.
Awesome. Well, Scott, hey, congratulations on a runner-up finish here tonight, and maybe we'll get to talk to you some more next week.
Sounds good, JR. Appreciate all you guys do for VGN here in the league. Take care.
Hey, we appreciate it, man. All right, that's Scott Patton, our runner-up finish. Soup, who you got now?
Scott Patton, more of a championship hope than he realizes with those drop races. I got Aiden Young. Aiden, I got 2 questions for you. First of all, it's got to be frustrating not to get the win, but how rewarding is it to have a plan and see it almost come perfectly to fruition?
It feels good. Just wish I didn't jinx or damage James's race, but
I get it. There's a lot of banging going on there at the end. Hey, let me give you this question. We've seen you race a lot of late models on short tracks, a lot of SK modifieds on short tracks. This car track combination looks so fun. I know you love that short track stuff, but this had to be a blast tonight.
it was for sure a blast. It's just a matter of who could keep the car pointed straight and not let the front end push.
Well, man, it was fun to watch you race. Congratulations on a 3rd place, and if you can keep showing up on these Mondays, you got a shot at this championship. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
All right, that's Aiden Young, our 3rd place finisher. felt a little bit bad about James Lehman, but he was not the first person to give him an incident point. It takes a while to get, you have to work to get to 16, so I wouldn't feel too bad there, Aiden. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about when we'll be back next week. Well, you heard my partner talk about it. We're going to the cornfield, baby. That's right. We're going to Iowa Speedway. That's going to be next Monday night. You don't want to miss that because the season is beginning to run down. These points become ever more precious. Before then, though, Saturday night, we have our BRL Outlaw doubleheader, the SK Modifieds, and then the late models, both on Saturday nights. You don't want to miss that. Those broadcasts, future broadcasts, past broadcasts, all a production of the Virtual Rip Network. For anyone listening, on behalf of all the little faces you see there on the screen, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and until next time, have fun storming the castle.